Bitcoin is substantially complete. Bitcoin was substantially complete January 3rd, 2009. Ethereum is substantially incomplete now. And that fundamentally is the problem. The challenge with, Vitalik's philosophy is this idea that we can simply imagine anything and do anything that we imagine, right, is unhinged from reality. You really can't just do anything that you want. Anybody that's ever built software before knows you start with this idea of a cool feature, and then you go down the path, and then you realize that either you couldn't get it to work, or nobody wanted it, or it's dysfunctional, or it backfires. So I think Ethereum and the entire all the proof of stake cryptos, generally all the cryptos, they're very overly idealistic.
Mm-hmm.
And the idealism ultimately makes them inappropriate as money and makes them inappropriate as commodity. Yeah, let's boil it down to one idea. Bitcoin is attempting to be a digital asset without an issuer. The whole ethos of crypto, properly understood, is the creation of a digital asset without an issuer. That idea or aspiration has been achieved by Bitcoin. There's a massive debate as to whether or not half a dozen or a dozen other networks have achieved it. We could debate that back and forth. But the other 20,000 are really just coupons running on software databases. So the idea that I can do all these cool things without, all the functionality, that's called software, right? Smart contracts and the like are all available in software. They run in software. You can do them on web browsers and servers and iPhones using electricity, using a very small amount of electricity, very little energy, and you can do them beautifully in software. There's no innovation there. The innovation that's really critical in crypto is the creation of an asset without an issuer. And whenever you default to have a software organization create that asset and they centrally maintain it, you failed. You haven't created a crypto, you've created a software program. It may be a software program running on 20 computers instead of one computer, but you're just creating a software program. And so therefore there's no breakthrough there. The sleight of hand here is somehow to say, well, Bitcoin is a digital asset without an issuer, and we're sort of like Bitcoin, but we have a lot more features and don't use electricity, so favor us. But of course, the logical fallacy is they're nothing like Bitcoin because they're not assets without issuers. They're assets with issuers, right? If you have the fact that Vitalik can actually say what they intend to do is proof that they're not a decentralized network. A true crypto network doesn't have anybody that can tell you what's going to happen next. That's why Satoshi disappeared. The creation of a crypto asset without an issuer is the innovation. Bitcoin is one step beyond that, right? If you create a digital asset without an issuer, you've created a commodity, a digital commodity. But you haven't created digital money or a digital scarcity. If you want to create the perfect digital money, you don't just want a commodity, right? Remember stock to flow?
Yeah.
Right? So silver is a commodity that makes bad money. Bales of tobacco and seashells and glass beads are commodities that make crappy money. Gold is a commodity that makes better money because it's got a higher stock to flow ratio. Right? Bitcoin is a commodity that makes the best money because the stock to flow ratio is infinite. In essence, it's 21 million. We know what it is. It's completely capped, completely scarce. Dogecoin may or may not be a digital commodity. I'm not sure because I'd have to determine whether or not it was ethically launched and whether or not it was truly decentralized and whether or not there's anyone that has true influence over it. I can honestly say I haven't studied it enough to know whether it is or isn't.
Neither have I.
but let's say hypothetically you forked some Bitcoin code, but then you changed some of the code to remove the halvings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you would have a digital asset that you might be able to argue is a commodity. If you forked it, gave it to the world, disappeared, and it ran like Bitcoin, but without the halvings, then it would simply continue to inflate at whatever 3-4% a year, X% a year, forever.
Yeah.
Right? Now that's a commodity, but it's not a scarcity. It's weak money. It's not strong money. It's not hard money. It's weaker money. The thing that's missing right now is the ability to actually apply to the CFTC or the SEC and submit your crypto network and say this token should be deemed a commodity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But let's say that they've already agreed Bitcoin is a commodity. There's nobody to apply because it's so decentralized that there's no one left. But I could just take the protocol and submit it, and I could say, look, no one has the power to change it. The protocol hasn't substantially changed in years and years and years. Is this commodity? They would probably say yes. I don't see an issuer. There's no ICO. There's no pre-mine. There's no one that seems to have it. Satoshi looks like Satoshi mined a lot of coins, but they haven't moved, and Satoshi's gone. So yeah, it looks like a commodity. Now, if I forked Bitcoin the year 2022 and I removed the halvings, and Bitcoin's just and this is like Bitcoin Lite, or weak coin, we'll call it weak coin, or maybe it's miner coin because like some miner decides it's a good idea because their block rewards will just stay constant. I could create miner coin, MINER or MINOR, depending upon the plan you want. Miner coin, and I fork that and I submit that application to the CFTC and I say, look, there's like 27 miners that are mining miner coin. Is this a security or commodity? If I did it in a fair and equitable fashion, it would be a digital asset without an issuer.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're allowed to do a little bit of software engineering. Like you can copy and paste the code, change the halving line, and issue it to the public domain.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not allowed to give yourself an ICO, give yourself 20% of the supply, sell 20% to the general. You can't sell 20% to the general public, keep 20%, and then keep control of the protocol, and then call it a commodity, you see?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So in this particular case, the minor achievement, which we should recognize as an achievement, is the creation of a digital commodity.
Mm-hmm.
But the brilliant achievement is the creation of a digital scarcity. So what you said is right in a way. That is, Satoshi's genius is creating digital scarcity, a digital commodity without an issuer. But the thing that makes it scarce is the protocol. Another way to say it is, right, like not all digital commodities are equally good. Mm-hmm. Just like not all commodities are equally good, right? I mean, copper versus silver versus gold, they're all commodities. One is harder than the other. Mm-hmm. So you can have a superior protocol or an inferior protocol. What I would say with Bitcoin is, and what I would say with crypto is, you have to have energy, a proprietary energy, to create the decentralized secure network that creates a commodity or creates an asset with an issuer. You need that. You have choices how you build the hardware, but anybody can build any hardware they want. So the SHA-256 protocol, which is a software decision, determined the hardware that followed, and now people are creating hardware optimized for that software. So the genetic code was set. There are other genetic codes that could result in digital assets without an issuer. There are also other genetic codes. There are other software protocols that could result in digital assets without an issuer that are also scarce. You could create a Bitcoin copy that's capped at 21 million coins but the difficulty adjustment takes place every 4 weeks instead of every 2 weeks,
Mhm.
and the halving takes place every 5 years instead of every 4 years. And it would still be a scarcity, but it would be a different. It would be a different network, a different protocol. Would one be better than the other?